بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We'll talk about why do many scientists, even though they're observing the universe, they're observing the creation of Allah, how can they be atheists? And when you look at the population distribution, scientists are expected to be much more religious as they're observing the universe much better than us. But it turned out to be they are the ones who are mostly non-believers. I can't say that most scientists are non-believers and atheists. That's probably a lie. But unfortunately, there are many among them, which is contrary to our expectations. But let's see why, even though they have much deeper knowledge about the universe and the creator than us. How can they still be non-believers? We'll read from the book The Words, which is one of the main books of Bediüz Zaman Said Nursi. We'll read the 12th word, which consists of 33 words. This is the 12th word. One time. So we'll read a very, very beautiful example, and this will use it to understand the reality. One time, a renowned ruler who has both religious and a fine craftsman wanted to write the all-wise Quran in a script worthy of the sacredness in its meaning and the miraculousness in its words, so that its marvel displaying stature would be arrayed in wondrous apparel. So this ruler wanted to use his beautiful fashion, beautiful art, beautiful craft to bejewel or decorate this beautiful Quran according to its beauty. So why is this ruler decorating this Quran? Because of the beauty of its meaning, because of its miraculousness. So the artist king therefore wrote the Quran in a truly wonderful fashion. He used all his precious jewels in its writings. He used gold, diamond. Instead of the paper, he used silk. So he used all kinds of expensive and beautiful jewels to decorate this book, the Quran. Especially, he adorned and decorated it in such a way that everyone, and those who knew how to read and those who did not, were full of admiration and astonishment when they beheld it. So all those who knew how to read the Quran, or those who didn't know how to read, are all affected by the beauty of this book, especially in the view of the people of truth, since the outer beauty was an indication of the brilliant beauty and striking adornment in its meaning. It became a truly precious antique. So those who believe that this is the Quran, a miraculous book, it made much more sense, as they knew why it was decorated. Then the ruler showed the artistically wrought and bejeweled Quran to a European philosopher and to a Muslim scholar. In order to test them, and for reward, he commanded them, "Each of you write a work about the wisdom and purposes of this." So this ruler gave this beautiful fashioned Quran to first a European philosopher and then a Muslim scholar. But the European philosopher, as he didn't know how to read Arabic, didn't even understand that it was a book worthy of being read. Both of them were asked to write an article about that work, but the philosopher, as he didn't know Arabic, he only wrote about the decorations of the book. He spent a lot of time on the book, but only read the decorations, never read the book itself, actually. But what about the other one? As for the Muslim scholar, so the philosopher was a good engineer. He wrote his book according to his own specialization. As for the Muslim scholar, when he looked at the Quran, he understood that it was the perspicuous book, the all-wise Quran. He understood that this was the Arabic text, this was the miraculous text of Allah, and he knew how to read Arabic. So instead of wasting his time with the decorations, he only concentrated on the meaning instead of spending time on the decorations and the jewels. because he knew that the only reason why this Quran was decorated is the beauty of its meaning. Yes. Then the two of them took their works and presented them to the illustrious ruler. The ruler first took the philosopher's work. He looked at it and saw that the self-centered and nature-worshipping man had worked very hard, the philosopher, the European philosopher, but had written nothing of true wisdom. He had understood nothing of its meaning. He did spend a lot of time, but he actually insulted the book, as he treated the book as a meaningless work. Indeed, he had confused it and been disrespectful towards it, and ill-mannered even, for supposing that source of truth, the Quran, to be meaningless decoration. He had insulted it as being valueless in regard to meaning. So the wise ruler hit him over the head with his work and expelled him from his presence. Then he looked to the work of the scholar and he said, "Congratulations, may God bless you." And he gave him his reward and punished the philosopher, even though he had worked a lot. So if you have understood this story, let's see the reality. In the reality, the ornamented Quran is this artistically fashioned universe. Why was Quran decorated? Because of the beauty of its meaning. Why is the universe decorated with all these beautiful plants, vegetables, flowers, insects, everything? Why is it decorated? Because it has a beautiful meaning, which is supposed to be read by us. But unfortunately, we had two sides. So the ruler is Allah, our creator. Our creator has decorated the universe, that book of universe, and has given to us people to read the book. But there are two kinds of men. One is the European philosophy and the philosophers. On the other hand, who is reading the universe? The students of Quran, and the Quran itself is reading the universe. So are they different in their perspective of the universe? Yes, the philosophers, when they look at the universe, as they can speak, not Arabic, but they can speak the language of the creator. They are not able to see the universe as a meaningful book. What do? They spend time on the decorations. They're wasting time on the decorations. They can observe each one of the details of the human being's cells and can see all the functions of the organs, but cannot see the beautiful wisdom, a wise creator's hand and involvement behind that. So they spend a lot of time looking at the universe and seeing how planets are orbiting in a very beautiful fashion, but they can't read the all-wise person's hand behind it. They're wasting a lot of time. They're spending a lot of time in looking at the creation, but they're only wasting their time on the decorations. You can also give the example of me asking somebody to write me an article about this book and give me a summary of this book. And 10 days later, the student comes to me and says, "I worked a lot on this book, teacher. What did you do? This book is so beautiful that the size of the paper, the cover is like 20 centimeters to 15 centimeters. It has 200 pages. It weighs 2 kilograms. The ink weighs 500 grams. He has worked a lot, but he hasn't read the book. He insulted the book. That's not what I was expecting from him. It's in the same way, the universe is created by Allah as a beautifully decorated work of art. Allah has decorated the universe, has decorated with all these scientific miracles. But the only reason why he decorated is that they are all mirrors to his beautiful names. The whole universe is just a mirror to know our creator. So reading that book of universe is finding its maker. Yes, the all-wise Quran is a most elevated expander, a most eloquent translator of the mighty Quran of the universe. Yes, it is the criterion which instructs man and the jinn concerning the signs of creation inscribed by the pen of power on the pages of the universe and on the leaves of time. It regards beings, each of which is a meaningful letter, as bearing the meaning of another. That is, it looks at them on account of their maker. It says how beautifully they have been made, how exquisitely they point to their maker's beauty, thus showing the universe's true beauty. So the reading of the universe and not reading can be seen in this way. You can either say how beautiful is the nature, or you can say how beautiful this has been made. So the next time I see a very beautiful flower, instead of saying wow how beautiful it is, I should be saying how beautiful it has been made, how beautiful in such a fashion that it shows the most beautiful one. That's one of the names of Allah, Ya Jamil, the beautiful one. So it's a mirror. The flower is a mirror to the name of Ya Jamil. That's how we read the book of universe. But the philosophy they call natural philosophy or science has plunged into the decorations of the letters of beings. So the topic is not about being in favor or against science, but it's about being able to read the work of universe. A person who has the perspective of the Quran, a perspective of a believing eye, can study each one of the signs in detail and still find the Creator, as long as he sees the decorations as a sign of the beauty of its meaning. While the letters of this mighty book should be looked at as bearing the meaning of another, that is, on account of God, they have not done this. They have looked at beings as signifying themselves. That is, they have looked at beings on account of beings and have discussed them in that way. Instead of saying how beautifully they have been made, they say how beautiful they are and have made them ugly. In doing this, they have insulted the universe and made it complain about them. Indeed, philosophy without religion and belief is a sophistry, divorced from reality and an insult to the universe. So, to summarize, we shouldn't forget that most scientists are believers. So we're only talking about those, although they're seeing the creation in a much detailed and beautiful fashion than us. How can they still remain atheists? Because they are spending a lot of time in this book of universe, but are not actually reading it, just because they can't speak not Arabic, but the language of the Creator. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.